Cool. All right, so welcome to the Sizzix booth at CHA. Done a lot of cool stuff with the alterations line. A lot of new big steel rule dies, a lot of mini dies, movers and shapers. But I want to talk about one cool new tool to the line, and that is diffusers. So diffusers, they're sold in one pack, and you actually get 6 pieces in the pack. And what these are, they are different shaped cutting pads, and I'll show you how they work. So you're going to get 3 of these frames. You're also going to get the matching insets that go inside here, and I want to show you how these work. This is really cool because for me it was the inspiration of how to work with my embossing folders, especially if you have all your texture fades that have some really cool kind of all over texture.
Everyone, the third day of the CHA 2012 Winter Conference and Trade Show is now open for business.
It's official. We are open for business.
Fun day at
Fabulous
CHA.
fun day. Here we go. All right, back to business. So if you have an embossing folder that has an all-over pattern, but maybe you want to incorporate a rubber stamp with it, this is what diffusers are all about. So I'm going to go in and take a piece of cardstock. This is a new collection I also teamed up with Coordinations to do with Sizzix, and that is these little pads of paper. There's a distress collection and a craft core collection. These are already cut and sized for your embossing folders and dies. I've also done these great ones for your decorative strip dies, and this way you get multiple pieces of the same color in there to just go for and die cut. So let me take a piece of this out. I think we'll take this one. I love to be able to just flip through, take a piece. So if I was going to put this into my texture fade, put this in here, and I embossed it, clearly I would have this pattern embossed over the entire thing. But what if I wanted to stamp in the center? Well, you can choose your shape of diffuser. Basically, we've done an oval. That's going to be for more of your vertical stamp messages. We've also done a circle. It's going to be for your wider stamp messages. And then we've also done a skinny oval, and this can be put at the bottom or the top for just those short little messages. So I'm going to show you on this one. Let's do the oval. This will be great. The cool thing about this is basically what this does is this material is made out of the same material as your cutting pads. The cutting pads that come with the Vagabond or your Big Shot. And so the diffuser will actually replace one layer of your cutting pad sandwich, so to speak. So because I'm embossing and I'm going to work in my Vagabond, I need to start with my platform. So I've got that. I'm going to take just my first cutting pad because we need to make our sandwich, and I'm going to place this down, and I'm going to use, like I said, my diffuser as my top cutting pad. And I can position wherever I want this, but I need to make sure that this covers my piece of paper completely. So once I've made my sandwich, I'm going to engage it into the machine. For the Vagabond, make sure it's switched the way I want it to go. Push down, run this through, and here's what the diffuser is going to do. It's actually going to eliminate pressure in an area. So now I've got this embossed texture, but you can see here this oval completely smooth, so I can stamp in there. Really, really cool. Isn't that awesome? So cool. Now you're saying, okay, well, what do I do with those little pieces, like the oval or something? Well, first of all, let me find it, because I think I smashed it down. This is going to do the opposite of this. So for example, if I wanted to put a piece of paper in and I just wanted to emboss an oval shape, and I can put this anywhere I want, I would just use this, and all it would do when I run through it is push this down and emboss that texture. Or maybe I want to take this and I'm going to put it back in my folder. It kind of locks in because it's a texture fade. And I said, okay, I've got this texture because that's what I used on my Harlequin, but maybe I want to put, oh, I don't know, let's go crazy. Let's put honeycomb inside there. Well, I'm just going to take my paper, put it in this folder. I said, all right, I know where my oval is. My oval is going to be there. And I'm going to put this in because that, again, is going to be my top layer. Place this down, engage in the machine, flip my switch so we go the other way. So what happens? It's going to do the opposite. So now it just puts texture in that area. So if you wanted to kind of get crazy with multiple textures, that's great. Or if you wanted to leave an area flat, you can do that. And that's what diffusers really bring to the table. Allow you to combine multiple textures, or of course, use your embossing folders for an area to stamp. Another great thing that Sizzix is doing, we're doing this gauge key. This is what's going to start coming out with all of the future production runs of the Vagabond, because it's not going to be a new Vagabond, it's the Vagabond. But this was to answer a lot of questions of people saying, well, what could I put in the machine? Whether it's the Vagabond or the Big Shot or any of the Sizzix machines, how do I know if that material will cut or emboss? Now, if you already own a Vagabond or one of the machines. There's going to be a promotion on the Sizzix blog. You can go to sizzix.com for more information, and they're actually doing this where they'll send you a set of these gauge keys for free. You just have to send a picture of you with your Vagabond and where you go. So here's how these work. You can see here that there's little letters here, and this will tell you if I'm using a steel rule die, I'm going to work in the A gauge. If I'm going to work with thinner dies or Sizzix, I would work in the B gauge. If I'm working with embossing folders, I've got the C gauge, and if I'm working with their inkets, it's the D gauge. And basically you're like, well, what does that all mean? Well, let's just take the steel rule die, for example. Basically what this means is that you can take your material, in this case it's grunge board, and I said, okay, well, I wonder if I can cut my grunge board and put it into the Vagabond. I can take a steel rule die and say, all right, I'm going to take my material and I'm going to make the sandwich that I would normally make, which is just 2 cutting pads. So I'm going to make the sandwich. I'm going to make sure that I stack it up on the table, and I'm going to take my gauge key, and if this will fit into the gauge, let me make sure I've got this in there. There we go. If it fits in the gauge, it's going to fit in the machine. That simple. So if it doesn't fit in the gauge, don't try to cut it because it's going to jam with the machine. So this is really going to be helpful to know if you wanted to cut fabrics or foams or things like that. That's the way to, I think, solve a lot of people from jamming up their machines. And while we have this in here, can I cut it? Let's just cut it away. I love this die. This is a great die. This is the new bird branch die. Look at that. Cool. Love all that fun detail that the steel rule dies have. So that's just some of the new stuff that we've done with Sizzix Alterations. Thanks for watching.